Dashboard cameras have captured a lady motorist falling because of a pothole. Once again, another pothole issue. Now, this has essentially exposed Bengaluru's terrible infrastructure. This incident happened on Tuesday on the Outer Ring Road's Kasturi Nagar flyover. Now, thankfully, the motorist has escaped with only minor injuries, and the vehicles behind her managed to avoid running over her. Now, just last Thursday, a 44-year-old motorist, Supreet, had lost his life after he lost control over his bike while riding on a pothole-ridden stretch in Bengaluru. Now, cops in the FIR termed this negligence on the part of the rider. I'm crossing over to my colleague Harish Upadhyay to give us more details on this. Harish, essentially the information is that the FIR in this particular situation has termed this negligence on the part of the rider. How is this particular part justified?
Well, the police seem to have gone on a technical aspect since the family did not name or did not blame the BBMP for it. And in usual cases, the police would book the person who is fallen or was driving at the point of incident as negligence on that part, on that person's part, and that's what they've done. More importantly, this latest visual of a lady, a motorist falling on a pothole-ridden stretch on Kasturi flyover in Bengaluru on Outer Ring Road is something that has shocked many people and also exposes the terrible infrastructure of Bengaluru. We have seen several incidents like these. Thankfully, in this particular case, you did not have too many heavy vehicles behind her, and even the car that was behind her managed to avoid ramming into the vehicle, and they in fact help her out. But we've seen other cases where there are heavy vehicles with not much distance, and then those vehicles running over the motorist, and then that resulting in a death. And remember, this is happening even as the government keeps promising that they would review the infrastructure. They're spending thousands of crores on improving infrastructure, but nothing much has happened. In fact, there have been cases going on in the High Court. Deadlines have passed, but the BBMP yet to figure out on how to ensure that the roads are maintained and potholes don't crop up. And even when they do, they're closed immediately. And a simple process of riding or driving from one place to another doesn't become a life-threatening one.
Absolutely, because essentially when you're going from point A to point B, you don't want to be at the risk of death or even injury for that matter because of a pothole. Now, what you were mentioning about how there are multiple cases in the High Court and how deadlines have passed, how is action not being taken on this considering that there have been so many incidents over the past few years? It's not a recent incident. This is something we see very often. So how is there no more action being taken at a higher level to curb the situation?
Well, perhaps the bigger problem is lack of accountability. Remember, the Bangalore's municipal body doesn't have an elected council now. It's being run by the bureaucrats. The elections have been delayed for a couple of years now. The High Court has been consistently lashing out against the officials, but nothing much is changing on ground. We are seeing the commissioner going on night visits. They're promising that they would bring in white topping, that's concrete roads in many parts of the city, but the project is going on at a very, very slow pace. That too is not helping citizens. And even as this is happening, we haven't seen any action against contractors who are responsible to ensure that they build good quality roads and they maintain the roads. There's also something called a defect liability period, that if the roads do get damaged in this particular period, say 2 years from building that road, it's fixed by the contractor. We haven't heard much on what has happened, how many contractors have been blacklisted, how many have been ensured that they do not get into the tender process in any way. That we haven't seen. All we've seen is the High Court lashing out and empty promises from the BBMP and the bureaucrats.
Absolutely. Now, Harish, could you also just once more to refresh our viewers' minds, can you also explain the recent incidents when it comes to potholes in Bengaluru?
Well, the one set of visual that you're seeing of a dashboard camera, this is happened on Tuesday. This is on the Kasturi Nagar flyover. This is part of the Outer Ring Road. Remember, this is a busy stretch with several IT companies and other companies as well, tech parks and other establishments. And what you see is a female motorist She was riding on this flyover and she comes across a pothole-ridden stretch, loses control of her vehicle, falls down. Thankfully, the other vehicles behind her had good distance between them and they could avoid her. And she did not suffer any major injury or no other vehicles ran over her.
All right, Harish, I'm
And
so sorry. I'm going to have to interrupt you. We have some more breaking news coming in.